Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Final Front Load, another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. But before we get going, the usual disclaimers and speaking of liars. In either of the communities I've been involved in, and I've been involved in a lot of them, still am, nothing tends to get my goat quite like these individuals who appeal to authority. The height of arrogance, the self entitlement, the absolute condescension. It's not the win you all think it is. In fact, every time you do it, you are more likely to draw, well, people like me. Once again, I am first of all mind blown, literally mind blown, that we have individuals in 2023 still trying to relitigate the JD versus AH case. It's been almost a year, folks. She lied. But you can't people who will put letters behind their name will sit there, but he's a classic abuser. Really? Really? Allow a counter argument, if you will. And if you would beg your pardon, I'm going to appeal to my authority. Okay? I am an individual who, like Deb, am neurodiverse. Not only am I neurodiverse, but I also have worked for the Missouri Department of Mental Health, Division of Developmental Disabilities. I have multiple certifications, more than I care to count or remember. Not to mention the yearly trainings that happen on computer every so often to make sure certain things like HIPAA certification are still all in place for me to be able to continue to do what I do outside of all that, right? Allow me to appeal to authority, since you individuals started it. Whenever they say he's a classic abuser, and you question them on it, and you question them on it, and you question them on it, want to know what it always comes back to? I'm going to shorten it for you so you don't have to deal with the nauseating hours and hours of stupid that I've had to deal with. He's weird. That's what it boils down to, folks. That's what it boils down to. He doesn't talk like them, walk like them, sound like them. He doesn't care about the PC nonsense any more than any of the rest of us do. You know, real people with real lives. Too busy working to sit there and be offended about literally everything. All that comes back to the same things. You might as well make a list and say that you just hate neurodiverse people, because we already know that you do. We already know that you do. The media, everybody has made us either objects of pity or turned us into villains, depending on what's suiting this month, for more decades than I care to count and go over. You with your many letters behind your name, let me make it simple for you. Your eyes are clouded by the bias of your profession. You are a part of the medical model, which have been making millions of dollars off of the backs of people like me for decades. You do it by demonizing us, by looking at us as experiments, not human beings, as people that you have yet to be able to turn into yourself. And you hate us for it. You do. Not all of you. There's still a decent, good chunk of individuals, but the medical model as a whole, as a cohesive whole, is built to try to force us square pegs into round holes. So when you have an individualist doctor like this, I'm going to tell you he's a classic abuser. Challenge him. Challenge him. Make them tell you why. See if they don't start listing off neurodiverse traits. Because I've made them do it. Okay? Literally made them do it. That's why I joined a part of the fight. It's not just bias against men, although that is extremely profound and is one of the largest things that's driving this still after over a year gone. The other thing that's driving it is ableism, folks. It's about us. It always is, in one way or another. We are weird. We do not act in ways that you can comprehend or understand. And you all, and humanity as a species, always use us as your villains. What makes this really apparent is look at people like Autism Speaks and the JRC and the thousands schools and places just like them making millions of dollars every year. Okay? What are we seeing here? It's the exact same things. It's fear-mongering. You can have as many letters behind your name as you want to. But all those letters do not beat my lived experience. And you have individuals like me who can also, I don't like to do it because I'm not a condescending piece of human garbage. But I can. I've worked the same fields that you have, honey. I've seen abuse on a scale that is beyond your comprehension. And it's always justified. Only they don't call it abuse. They call it treatment. It's usually individuals like you who like to use these cases to demonize all of us as an excuse to make us your living, breathing experiments. You know what? No. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to let this play. Majority of you do not know who are coming from over into the autistic community that I was very involved with that case. Because I was seeing the very same bullying going on against him as has been used against us time and again. I went through the evidence. I read the documents. saw the ER pictures. I listened to the recordings. It points in one direction and it isn't at him. But these people continue to do what has been done to the rest of us for so long. How many of us have complained how we've been treated by a bunch of people with letters behind our names that shout us down? He's one of ours. Okay? What's happened to him, especially in the media, it's the same thing that's been happening to all of us for more decades than I care to remember at this point. I'm going to drop this conversation now because I'm really done with having it. Let's get back to the JRC, shall we? I'm tempted to stop this video and remove this part of this rant, but you know what? No, I'm going to leave it in. If you decide that you don't want to follow me because of that rant, be my guest. I'm in that kind of mood today, and I just don't care. Alright, folks, in the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the cojones to see through with their threat. We also have the link to the Ozark's first article in regards to Agape Boarding School, now known as Stone for Help Boarding School. This is a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has in pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys up on multiple claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing drag queens to actually protect kids from proven pedophiles like out there at Agape. And you got a governor, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Just send help. Please share that article on all your social media. We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Basemba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? All right, this channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we do speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger, they are watching this. Very obviously, parental supervision is advised. All right, folks, trigger warning. We're about to descend once more into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, abuse and torture, apologencia, pseudoscience, lies, enough ableism and bigotry to circle the globe a few thousand times, all coming from a man with a massive ego and even larger God complex. So be prepared for the stupid, all right? I ranted a little bit longer than I was intending to. God, I hate when they appeal to authority. I can do that too, Karen. I can also appeal to authority. I also have, God, plenty of certifications. We'll just leave it there. I'm just done. I am so done. I can't even see straight at this point. Just admit you hate neurodiverse people and go. Oh, and by the way, in case any of you come to this little channel and you want to question me on it, read the first link in the description box. It's from the Disability Memorial. You know, individuals like me who've been murdered because of our disabilities. Yeah, about that, right? Moving on. Sorry. Safe and effective behavioral therapy requires that the beginning of phases of a problematic behavior be treated, and that the clinician should not wait for the student to damage him herself or others before treating behavior. Oh, doctor, I'm going to stop you. Mind if I stop you? Because I'm going to stop you. As a person who's worked in this field, it is not general practice for a therapist who's treating us to deliberately trigger the behavior so that they can punish the behavior, so that we don't damage ourselves. That's literally not how any of this works. Let's talk about real medicine here. I know you're allergic to it, doctor, but just, follow me here for a moment. You want to know what they're talking about? Preventative care. Yes, it's prevalently used. It doesn't mean this insanity. Okay? When we talk about preventative, that means through therapy, talking and working through to find out what the root cause is that's triggering the behavior. You identify the problem. Next stage becomes the healing process in some capacities, or in others. Okay, we've identified the problem. Now, how can we support this individual in a way that this trigger will at least be less effective if possible? That's when discussions, problem solving, for the love of the Lord, problem solving. Hear me on this, please. Where reasonable accommodations could come into play. Assistive devices in some cases. Some good coping mechanisms and skills that can be taught to help get us calm, right? Right? This is what it means, doctor, on how to find a way to prevent the person from being triggered in the first place before it goes to that worst case scenario. The doctor is basically trying to convince you that if they didn't do what they were doing, then we're just cruelly allowing this person to abuse themselves. Doctor, really? Because that's literally not what's going on. There are actual ways that this works. You cannot justify to me deliberately triggering someone to have a behavior so that you can punish them is good therapy. It's not good therapy, doctor. It's not good psychology. It's a good way to give us more psychological issues, though. For example, in treating the behavior of jumping out of one's chair to attack a staff member or other student, it's important to treat the earliest phase of the behavior, jumping out of one's seat, as soon as possible, to not wait until the violence has already occurred. Okay, doctor. Are you aware that there are numerous reasons why an individual might jump out of their seat? Maybe someone needs to go to the bathroom. Maybe they have something they urgently need to tell you. Maybe they just need to move around a little. Their legs falling asleep. They need to move it around so they can stop feeling like a bunch of little needles are plunging into their legs. They may even need to stand up, not to jump out of their seat, but to pull their underwear out from you know where. You are punishing them for thought crimes, doctor. Thought crimes! When an individual gets out of their seat, there is no way, doctor, no way under God that you can sit there and tell me that you know why they're getting out of their seat. There is literally a million reasons. It is not an indicator of aggression. It's not the indicator of a meltdown. You want to know why I jump out of my seat when I was in school? I'll tell you. I had to pee. Okay? It's that simple. Or I had to do, we're not going to get into number two. We'll just, you get where I'm going without me making this gross. Okay? There are millions of reasons why young, active children full of energy might feel the need to jump out of their seat. Literally, none of them are about violence. You have skewed your head to this idea that literally everything that we do that can possibly lead to an aggressive action needs to be punished. Here's the thing though, a lot of basic things, standing up, open one's mouth, open to speak, you might as well just punish them for getting up and walking to their door in the morning, doctor, because you could say, arguably, if we're going down this insane rabbit hole here, and me getting up and opening my door could lead to aggression, I could be leaving that door to go punch someone in the face. That's not actually what's happening, but this is the logic this doctor is operating off of. The violence can be prevented and aggressive behavior be effectively treated. Again, I rise to you, doctor. This isn't treatment, and you. Wow. Wow, folks. Wow. There are many reasons why a child might jump up from their seat. A good majority of the time, it's not because I'm jumping up to hurt you. Okay? There are the beginnings of many of the things that we do in our everyday life that are in no way, shape, or form part of any beginning part of an aggression. You can literally say simply breathing is a part of something that can lead to aggression and shock me. If we want to take it on this very literal kind of weird roller coaster of insanity that his thought process is going on here. I don't know how this man came a doctor. I don't know how he was allowed to run this school so long with this and just this is bonkers, folks. This is more than just bad medicine. This man should have never been allowed to have access to children. I don't think this man should have even ever had access to a slug. Okay? There is no way in all this that he is convincing me of anything other than his own lunacy. We're going to go ahead and close on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time, so please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please, folks, don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. We are going to be coming back here in a little while with the videos. Open chat. Sorry, I can't think today. I will be talking to you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.